Hey friends, so it's actually a month later from my first attempt at this, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I highly suggest you click the video link in the description. My first time trying this did not go so well. Not this specifically, just in general, the prep, but you have to watch the video to go find out what happened, and yeah. But now that we are exactly a month later, they didn't have an earlier appointment for me to get in to have my procedure done. It's exactly a month later. So it's been good wait, but at least it's finally happening. So tonight is 2 days before my scheduled colonoscopy, and I will be doing the diet tea as I took last time. Same exact thing, triple leaf tea, ultra slim herbal tea. Exactly the same as last time, so this was my used empty one, and now I'm gonna be making this one. Now that we've had about 5 minutes to steep, I guess we could start drinking. I'm actually someone who needs to drink tea not super hot. I get burnt very easily in my tongue and my mouth. So let's wait a few more minutes. So I wasn't given any dietary instructions, but I'm personally gonna eat something that is not so settling with me ever. So I have some jalapeno potato chips and a nice cup of homemade chip dip. Sour cream, cream cheese, onion, garlic, hot sauce, pickle juice, banana pepper juice. Yeah, I go hard with my chips. That's gonna be the snack portion of this. And then once this cools down, we'll be doing that. Okay, now that the final meals are definitely over, it's time to go to bed, and then hopefully tomorrow is the start of a normal process as opposed to last time. Because last time I started at 1 p.m. So I think what is going to be helpful this time is that I don't start until 5 p.m. Only downside is that I have to drink this much. 64 ounces. To put that into terms, not as bad as I thought. 1 and 2. These are both 32 ounce light Gatorades. Basically nothing colored that may look like blood or anything in your system. So 2 of these filled up in there within, I believe, 4 hours. I don't mind feeling full. I just mind getting sick, and that's what happened. You mix this entire bottle with these and this. And then at 9 p.m. Yeah, so you take 4 at once. And then I have some extra Gatorades. I have broth. I have lots of stuff ready for tomorrow to maintain my clear liquid diet. It's gonna be something though. This is something, I must say. Okay, I swear I'm going to bed now, but I just wanted to share this one thing I forgot about. I like sneaking some candies in the middle of the night. And now that Easter is in a week, these are easily accessible. And I usually eat one before bed, waking up, whenever I pass by here. So the fact that I cannot have any of these tomorrow is going to be very difficult. I started going before my prep time, so I'm here starting my prep. Tasteless. Okay. last up, 4 Ducolax tablets. User. So it is the end of the night now. It has been a long 7-ish hours. First half of the day was pretty easy with the liquid diet. I was just kind of having my liquids and then resting and sleeping, so I wasn't really focusing on being hungry or anything. And now it's nighttime, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to sleep at least through most of the night. I'm probably gonna have some sort of anxiety because that's just me in general. But if I'm able to sleep for a good amount of time, that'd be nice. I was actually in bed watching Netflix and I was kind of dozing off, but I wanted to try and go to the bathroom one more time before actually settling down. During the whole prep and Miralax and Ducolax and everything, I had to go a total of this many times. And basically, the thing that I noticed that was most significant for me is that the urgency I was feeling in regards to having to go and release everything is not as bad as the issue that brought me into the GI doctor in the first place. Because that's one of my issues, is that things always feel urgent no matter what I'm eating or what's happening. With this, I could feel that I needed to go, but it was not urgent in the same way that it is normally for me. If anything, this was easier than normal, just a lot more frequent. But besides that, at this point, everything is a clear liquid. Pretty much clear, yellow tinted liquid, and that's what it should stay. Now that it's past 12, I can't have anything else. I actually took my last sip of water at like 11. My procedure is at 11. Ugh, well, that's weird. I feel the hunger pains, but I'm also the kind of person who can go a long time without eating. So with this, the hunger pains are inconvenient, but for me, it's more just not being able to snack on something, not being able to have a piece of candy or just like anything. That's more of what the issue is for me, but I'm sure it's different for other people. Now that I'm as empty as I'm going to get right now, I'm going to try and sleep, and then hopefully tomorrow we'll just get here already. All right, good night. That's fine, you didn't scare the shit out of me at all. That's totally fine. Good morning. Shower up and get ready to leave. During the night, I only had to go twice, and then right now, I don't feel anything, but I'll see what happens when I try to go to the bathroom.
The last time you had the liquid, what about?
That was maybe 10:30 last night.
And solid was earlier.
Solid was probably 10:30 the night before. Getting my menstrual cramps, of course. So now I kind of ran into the bathroom to do whatever. Oh, God. He said they didn't look like there were any fissures. Because when he put it in for 2 seconds, I was bleeding.
That's what she said.
So it's probably just the hemorrhoid area.
Yeah, but usually with hemorrhoids, they cauterize them if they're bleeding.
Maybe some days it bleeds, maybe some days it doesn't. I don't know.
Could be.
Is this still, what is this, hydration? All right, now we're a good like 24 hours plus past all of that stuff yesterday. The only remaining battle scar is this, because it's very hard to get off and I don't want to rip out all of my arm hair. As you can see, things went well, but I do want to say the worst part of the entire experience, I'm usually pretty good with getting like IVs and shots and things like that. My vein is usually always there, but because I was dehydrated, because that's what you need to be for this procedure, they couldn't find my vein. So when I felt the nurse put the IV needle in, and then I felt her moving it, because I just knew, I was like, shit, she can't find it. This never happens. She could always find it. So I got very nauseous and I started to like gag and like my stomach hurt, my head hurt, and whatever else. Trigger warning if this freaks some people out, because it would freak me out. But you could see that little dot right there, and you could see the nice thick blue vein that's full of life right now. She couldn't get in there the first time, so she just ended up switching to a spot close by, whatever. Actually, I got so sick that they had to stop entirely and they had to lift my bed up, and I didn't feel like I was going to throw up. Like, I always feel that way, but I know I'm probably not going to. There's the difference between like the soup prep puking that I did and feeling nauseous now. Like, that was because I had something in my stomach that didn't want to be there. This was because something is happening that is making me feel sick, which was kind of different. Let me just talk about this for a second. I learned a trick with blood work. I'm not good with having blood taken. That makes me nauseous, makes me gag, very lightheaded, dizzy, whatever. Usually like lasting for like 15 minutes after the blood is gone. I learned that for general nausea, including that, which is where I learned this first, that if you put an ice pack behind your neck, that it will help either relieve or eliminate the nausea entirely. And my aunt remembered it, and while she saw me kind of freaking out sick, and she said, oh, let me get an ice pack because we're in hospital. But within a few minutes, the sickness was gone, and they were able to get my vein in another place. The second part of why the experience was garbage is that I had started my period. I'd been feeling the cramps and stuff, so I just had a feeling. I was like, my body kind of responds this way to stress. It's gonna wait until the colonoscopy is over, and then I'm gonna bleed. So I wasn't bleeding, but while I was having this nausea attack and lightheadedness from the IV thing, I was also getting horrible menstrual cramps. They couldn't give me anything because they were about to give me anesthesia, so you can't mix any Tylenol or anything with it. So I'm just like, can I have a heating pad before a procedure? And here I am with an ice pack on the front of my head, ice pack on the back of my neck, and a heating pad on my abdomen, looking like a total like wreck. Besides that, which was all my personal issues, everything went fine. Getting in, everything, all the nurses were great. My doctor, I had only met him once before when I had my initial appointment with him. They rolled me in, they put a little oxygen tube in my nose, which I didn't have last surgery I had, so that was interesting. What they did in this hospital was like, they read that they confirmed that this is the correct patient and that this is the procedure and blah blah blah. I was like, okay, that's good to avoid any like lawsuits and stuff. Like, you all like hover over the person and you all like say like an agreement, like, okay. So then, yeah, I had my oxygen. She pumped a big syringe of whatever sleepy time stuff, and she said, all right, have a good nap. And that was it. I had a harder time waking up from this anesthesia than I did previously for my other surgery. I remember talking to my doctor briefly and then passing back out and then waking up again. This was all within like an hour also. It was a very quick, like everything, all of this was within an hour. But I ended up waking up and felt absolutely nothing. The thing I wanted to check though was, did I get my period? Because I let them know before I fell asleep. I'm like, listen, this may happen. They're like, okay, who cares? That's not the worst thing we've seen. The second I got home, I was bleeding. So wasn't there, specifically checked because they were asking me, oh, do you want a pad? Do you want whatever? Nope, was not bleeding, got home, started bleeding. But now getting to the part of the video that everyone cares about realistically is what was the general results. I said that everything in general was fine, and it was. The reason why I went in initially to see a GI was because I was having very urgent, inconsistent movements, and my anus was bleeding and itching and burning and all this stuff for about a year. I've been using this hemorrhoid cream, and this didn't work. It was kind of relieving after things were happening, but it wasn't totally doing the job, and that was obviously frustrating. So the result was hemorrhoids. My paperwork says, here we go. You're gonna get some fun pictures in a second.
What's that? Girl, that's a booty hole.
The impression, the entire examined colon is normal. The examined portion of the ileum was normal and biopsied. Non-bleeding internal hemorrhoid.
Maybe some days it bleeds, maybe some days it doesn't.
One diagnosis. Second diagnosis, irritable bowel syndrome. And then the recommendations are discharge home, resume previous diet, continue medications, await results, and then visit him in 4 weeks. When I had first gone into his office, his concern was I may have IBD or colitis or one of the more serious bowel diseases. Being me, I kind of freaked myself out and I did a lot of research into more worst case scenarios with those. People who have colons removed and have to wear ostomy bags outside their bodies and things like that. So when I was doing this research, it didn't sound like I was as severe as these other people. In their stories, they were talking about having urgency like 30 times a day. And for me, it's maybe 4 times, a few times a week. Nothing in comparison to what those stories sounded like. But, you know, we kind of just wanted to wait and see and get the actual results before taking guesses. And this is exactly what that did. In terms of hemorrhoids, he did prescribe me a cream. This is what I'm using for that. And I just started that, so obviously at this point I have nothing to say about it, but I will be updating as I go along. In regards to the IBS, that's what my guess was. That's what my boyfriend's guess was. I've watched content of other people who have had IBS. If you want to watch a good video on it, I suggest checking out my friend KAYLEIgh's video. I'll leave it in the description. But as much as it will be an annoying thing to deal with, I'm glad that it's diagnosed. I'm glad that it is not worse, because it really could have been. So, moral of the story. Number 1, try to avoid soup prep or any flavored bowel prep with your life. Unless you seriously think you have a stomach for it and you could handle really, really disgusting things. The thing with me was I was able to drink it, but I couldn't hold it down. My stomach just did not want that inside of me. Doing the Miralax, it didn't even feel like I was full. I don't know if any of you have ever had like CAT scans or MRIs where you've had to drink contrast and you feel very full. I didn't even feel that kind of fullness with the Gatorade Miralax mixture. So doing that bowel prep was 5 million times better than the soup prep would have been. So I really recommend that. First, because of the flavor and the inconvenience, whatever else. Second, because soup prep is very expensive and I ended up throwing away $75 because I couldn't drink it. The Miralax and Gatorade is significantly cheaper, so if you're on a budget, I really suggest asking your GI if you can do that one instead. And I guess lastly, just utilize colonoscopies if you have to go get one. I know it's strange when you're around my age or younger or just generally out of the older age group, because this isn't really a common thing for us to be doing. Like, it's not really the hippest thing to do. Like, oh, I'm going to get my colon, like, looked at. Like, that's not a thing that people our age do. But that's the great thing about YouTube. You feel a little less alone. You feel a little less scared. And it just makes the whole inconvenient experience a little better. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you want to get some updates on this stuff in the future. And I wish you lots of health and wellness. See you later.